Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's Weekly News Conference. Today we'll start with a special check presentation and then announce an upcoming visit from our sister city, Zibo, China, explain the first ever SPCP neighborhood cleanup, provide details on Constitution Day and the U.S. Census Bureau, support Erie's Public Schools Maritime and Aviation Program, showcase the Irish Festival, and give an update on LERTA. And now I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thanks, Renee, and we're very pleased to be joined today by members of the Knights of Columbus who have a presentation to make to the Erie Fire Department. So now I'd like to invite Lou Norden, Sr., he's president of the Greater Erie Chapter of the Knights of Columbus, Ken Grugel, who's State Community Director, and Robert Goshinsky, who's Knights of Columbus Chapter Treasurer, and also Fire Chief Guy Santone, to come up to the podium. And Lou, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. In behalf of the Knights of Columbus and the Greater Erie Chapter, with the 9/11 commemorative events and also us sponsoring the first people that come into the fires and everything else that goes on, the first responders. We raised some money actually throughout Erie County, and some donations also came from Pittsburgh and as far as Harrisburg. So Chief, in behalf of the Knights of Columbus and your work as the Chief and first responders and your men, I'd like to give you this check for $2,000.
Well, thank you very much. Real quick, I just want to thank the Knights of Columbus and Lou and Ken and Bob for this generous donation, because obviously we're going to find a place for this pretty quick. So thank you again very much for this. This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you,
All right.
Chief.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. When you enter or exit City Hall on State Street, you've probably noticed the two massive vases on either side of the lobby entrance. Those vases were sent to Erie as a gift from Zibo, China in 1995, which was the 10th anniversary of our sister city relationship with them. In April, Chris Groner and I led a delegation to Zibo to begin rebuilding that relationship. We were looking for mutually beneficial cooperation agreements. As a result of our visit, several cultural and educational exchanges to benefit both cities got started. I'm very pleased to announce that a Zibo delegation will be here in Erie September 28th through October 2nd with a focus on healthcare and education. My team and I are planning the visit with the help of the following people: James Grunke, the CEO of the Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership; Jim Fiorenzo, a senior advisor with hospital operations for UPMC International; CEO Chris Clark of AHN St. Vincent's; CEO David Gibbons of UPMC Hammett; Drs. John and Sylvia Ferretti of LECOM, and the 4 university presidents. Erie is committed to a long-term relationship with our sister city, Zibo, and we want to strengthen the ties with them and grow together to build a harmonious, mutually beneficial relationship. I look forward to speaking more about this initiative in the weeks to come. Next, I'm proud to introduce the city's community outreach coordinator, Michael Outlaw, who I like to call my brother by another mother. Michael will now tell you about our important neighborhood cleanup that's coming up this weekend. Michael.
Yes, yeah. All right, so good morning. Not only do the mayor and I consider ourselves brothers, but we're friends, committed to restoring hope in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania. Joining me today at the podium are SPCP council members, Deputy Chief Mike Nolan, District Attorney of Erie County, Jack Denieri, and Neekin Astari Carpenter. She's the Executive Assistant, Refugee and Immigrant Liaison for the City of Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm going to go over some logistics for Saturday's neighborhood cleanup and why this initiative is important for the community. The definition of civic engagement is an individual or group addressing issues of public concerns Civic engagement includes communities working together, both in political and non-political actions. The goal of civic engagement is to address public concerns and promote the quality of community. The area of 7th and Wallace, according to data, is the highest crime area in the city of Erie, Pennsylvania. We decided as a council to focus our efforts on that area due to it being a public concern. We know that the neighbors living in that community are hard-working people who take pride in their neighborhood and deserve better. We also know that the neighbors in that community need support, and the work of the SPCP Council is the mechanism to provide that support, build trust with the community and police, and it is a step in the direction to increase public safety and reduce crime. So we are calling on all neighbors in that community to gather at Serve Erie's Garden, located at 434 East 7th Street, this Saturday at 10 a.m. Event is slated to end at 2 p.m. Our focus area will be Parade Street to Reed Street. Members of the SPCP Council, in collaboration with the Erie Police Department, will be greeters going door to door, handing out SPCP postcards, which explains the vision, mission, values, and goals of the council. This will also provide an opportunity for EPD to build a stronger rapport with neighbors in that community. Next, we will transition from labor to refreshment by grilling hot dogs and hamburgers. And for those with a sweet tooth, we will have ice cream as well. All right? So we encourage the neighbors in that area to come out and behold how good and pleasant it is when we dwell together in unity. Lastly, I want to thank Executive Director of Serve Erie, Marcus Atkinson, and his team for supplying the equipment for this event and the volunteers. Chantel Hilliard, the Executive Director of Booker T. Washington Center, for coordinating the food portion of this event. Also, thanks to Bonnell's Collision for the ice cream truck, and District Attorney of Erie County, Jack Denieri, for providing the financial resources for this event. And also to the Mayor, Chief Dan Pizzarni, Deputy Chief Mike Nolan, and the Erie Police Department for their courage, leadership, and support of this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate that. Strong trust and open communication between citizens and police is vital if we're going to make Erie safe and welcoming for everyone. The SPCP Council has built that kind of relationship between police leadership and members of the council, but there's still a lot of work to do. Sunday's neighborhood cleanup is a huge step in the right direction. I'll be at 7th and Wallace Saturday morning at 10 a.m., and I invite everyone listening to come join us as we build opportunity, restore hope, and transform Erie. On September 17th, delegates from our country's, September 17th, 1787, a few years ago, delegates to our country's constitutional convention met for the last time to sign the Constitution of the United States of America. September 17th is now celebrated every year as Constitution Day, which gives all Americans the opportunity to remember what we stand for and share our love of the United States of America. One of the most important things we Americans must do every 10 years is participate in the census. We are happy to have partnership specialist with the United States Census Bureau, Nancy Augustine, here with us to speak about what U.S. Census is doing to celebrate Constitution Day.
Thank you very much. James Madison, together with Thomas Jefferson, made sure that enshrined in our Constitution was the requirement that every 10 years our nation would conduct a census. The census is so important that they wrote this requirement in Article 1, Section 2 of the U.S. Constitution. It's the only means by which to ensure fair representation for every citizen in our Congress. Jefferson himself supervised that first census in 1790, which contain just 6 questions. The 2020 census, excuse me, is very much like the original, with just 10 simple questions. In Pennsylvania, we've lost representatives due to declining census numbers. If we don't fill out the census, our voice in Congress gets a little bit quieter. I don't know about each of you, but that's where I want my voice to be the loudest. That's why our own personal obligation to fill out the census goes hand in hand with our right to vote. It's our civic duty that for more than 2 centuries has been a part of the fabric of our country. The American Constitution was the first to empower the people over the government instead of the other way around. All of us at the Census Bureau are passionate about our obligation to participate in the 2020 census and to ensure we get it right. On Constitution Day, this coming Tuesday, September 17th, we hope all of our local students and communities, together with government and business leaders, will take the time to celebrate our Constitution and remember just how important a complete count of every individual in the 2020 census is to our Erie community. Thank you. Thank you, Maura.
Thank you very much, Nancy. The 2020 census is right around the corner, and I want to talk about it for a minute, if you don't mind. The census is much more than just a head count. It provides population numbers that determine 3 important things for the next 10 years. First, how federal funding is distributed. Second, the number of seats in Congress that each state receives. And third, the number of seats each state gets at the Electoral College. Here's how important the federal census numbers are. For every person not counted, it costs that community $2,100 per year for the next 10 years. The next census is April 1st, 2020. It's very important that every person in the area is counted, including homeless, immigrants, refugees, elderly, and all children. Think about it. If 1,000 people are not counted, Erie will lose $2,100,000 per year in federal funding for the next 10 years. So remember, wherever you're living on April 1st, 2020, that's where you should be counted. That includes college students who are often missed. We'll have more on the census in future press conferences. We're very happy today to be joined again by Erica Irwin, the coordinator of the Erie School District Relations and Strategic Communications. Today, Erica is going to share information with us on the school district's aviation and maritime studies programs. Erica.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here once again to talk about what I think are two programs that are among our newest and I think most exciting programs that we want to make sure people are aware about. The first is our maritime program. So a little background, back in 2017, the district was approached by Captain Billy Sabatini and Mr. Rich Eisenberg of the Bayfront Maritime Center about collaborating with the school district to create a maritime program. With a skilled labor pool of maritime workers dwindling worldwide, they were hoping to create a program similar to others on the Great Lakes that educate and prepare students for a maritime career. With our beautiful Bayfront resources here, it was the perfect opportunity to connect those resources with possible career opportunities for our students. So the program started in 2018-19 as a collaboration between Erie High and the Bayfront Maritime Center. Students typically begin their day at the Bayfront Maritime Center. They stay all morning from about 8:30 to 11:30 and then are bused back to Erie High for their core academic work. Clive Tattersall, a former merchant marine and an avid sailboat captain, provides the direct instruction at the Bayfront Maritime Center, and he's assisted by Rich Eisenberg and Scott Hitz, a maritime educator, and shipwright Ron DeLappa. So 15 students in that first year learned the basics of sailing and navigation. They built a 6-hour canoe, as well as worked on various projects related to the schooner Porcupine. And all of those students completed also a PA boater safety course, and were trained in CPR and first aid. So now we're in the second year. There are 21 students. They're building on all the courses from the year one, moving from simple navigation to being able to plot a course on a point, learning how to captain a vessel, learning about engine maintenance and repair, and exploring just various other maritime careers. They can apply for their Transportation Workers Identification Certificate and complete work toward the entry-level Merchant Mariner credential. So that program has been incredibly successful, and so much so that as word of that program began to spread, the district was approached by Brian Slowan of the Ben Franklin Technology Partners. He's a former pilot, and also Mr. Greg Hayes of North Coast Flight School. They heard about the maritime program and wanted to develop something similar for aviation. The aviation industry, like maritime, is also in dire need of skilled labor. Airplane mechanics, pilots, and drone pilots. So in researching possible curricular opportunities, our Director of Career and Technical Education, Pam Mikowski, saw an article about a school in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, that was offering a curriculum through the Airline Owners and Pilots Association. And fast forward that we at the district, after researching that, were lucky enough to be accepted as one of more than 100 schools implementing a nationally recognized Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association's high school aviation science, technology, engineering, and math curriculum. Sorry, that's a mouthful. But we started that this year. So both of these programs are completely unique to Erie's public schools in the region. This is the first year we are offering aviation as a full credit course. There are 29 students enrolled. Students have a unique opportunity to experience this first of its kind comprehensive 4-year aviation study program. It's aligned with rigorous math and science standards that are used in about 30 states nationwide. The program aims to provide students the skills they need to pursue aviation-related career and educational opportunities. There are currently 2 different pathways that students can pursue, pilot pathway and also the unmanned aircraft systems pathway. That's drones. All curriculum materials are provided to our school at no cost, thanks to some generous donations made by the AOPA Foundation to fund the development and distribution of that curriculum. So at the end of this 4-year program, students will leave that with the knowledge and experience necessary to earn their remote pilot certification through the FAA, for example, if they're in the drone pathway. The 9th grade course will provide the foundation for advanced exploration in the areas of flying, aerospace engineering, and unmanned aircraft systems, as I said. Students learn about engineering practices, problem solving, and the innovations and technological developments that have made today's aviation and aerospace industries possible. Students will look at the problem solving practices and innovative leaps that transformed space exploration from the unimaginable to the common in a single generation. They'll gain also some historical perspectives, starting from the earliest flying machines and leading to the wide variety of modern aircraft and the integral role they play in making today's world work. Fast forward to second semester, students kind of begin to drill down into various sectors of aviation and the elements that make up the aviation and aerospace ecosystem. They discover how advances in aviation create a need for regulation, and will learn about the promulgation of civil aviation oversight. They also explore modern innovations, develop their own innovative ideas to address real-world challenges facing the aviation industry, and they're exposed to a variety of, as I said, career options in aviation and aerospace. So again, both of those are unique programs to Erie's public schools. We want to make sure students are aware of them. Current students at Erie High or high school age students who are interested can work with their counselor, their guidance counselor, or call Pam Mikowski, our Director of Career and Tech Ed at Erie High. Students who are interested in entering those programs and are not currently enrolled in our district, high school age students can contact the district administration building and we'll get you started. Two very unique pathways to a successful career in either aviation or the maritime industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. It's very exciting, what you're doing, providing information on becoming a pilot, on working in the maritime industry, so that kids coming out of high school can get good family-sustaining jobs. I'm glad that you're going to continue to be with us as well to highlight a lot of the exciting programs going on in the Erie School District. Continuing the celebration of Erie's rich cultural diversity, this weekend is the 26th Annual Irish Festival, which will be held at St. Patrick's Church, September 13th, tomorrow, through September 15th. You can bring your dancing shoes to the Erie Irish Polka Party, eat your fill of authentic Irish food, be part of the Irish tradition here in Erie, Pennsylvania. Admission is free for all weekend, and there's plenty of parking in the neighborhood. You can find a full schedule of events at erieirishfestival.com or by searching Facebook for Erie Irish Festival. Finally today, I'm very excited to announce that in the last 5 business days, ended yesterday, September 11th, we've received 3 additional LERTA applications with a total investment of over $1,500,000 in Erie. Here's our totals through since July 1st. We've had 34 residential permits with a projected investment of $4,770,940 and 14 commercial permits with a projected investment of $4,178,634. So in the 51 business days since July 1st, we've had a total of 48 LERTA applications with total projected investment of $8,949,574. I'm hopeful that by the end of September, we'll have already exceeded the $10 million mark. That concludes today's press conference. Everyone who spoke is available for interviews. Thanks very much for being here.